So I like fried shrimp, okay? And so like I did this search online for the best fried shrimp in my area, and came up with this place that was across the street from the library where I like to go. So I went there, and yeah, they had great shrimp and did like good prices, great food, and like the manager lady had just bought the place, and she was just really cool person, like written on the walls or like things like think freely, and come as a stranger, leave as a friend, dream, like lots, just it was a good vibe, it was very simple. Some people call it like blue collar or whatever frick that's supposed to mean. But it was a great place, so I started going there, and it was good, I mean, sort of got to know the cook, got to know some of the regulars there, and and I just really liked it, and but I mean, I was like, I'm often like a moody person and all that, and so I wasn't sure, like, sometimes I go there and feel that way, but it was never anything big deal, and everything seemed to be cool. And then like one day they had their TV on. I just gotta tell you, when I hear the TV, I always have to mouth off and stuff. But overall, I felt accepted there. You see, that was the thing. I felt accepted. That was important to me because I don't really feel accepted very often. And that's, boo-hoo, okay? Right? There's just this thin line between being human and superhuman, right? And when they want you to be human, of course, David, be with people. You need people when they want and disclaim their responsibility for you. It's your responsibility. You be superhuman. Don't look to me for support. I mean, why should you? Are you weak? But anyway, I liked being accepted, and so I wanted to try to at least give that an opportunity, because otherwise you could just say you never tried, right? So I was going there, and I was enjoying myself and trying to be myself because it was about thinking freely and being yourself. And, they always had this TV playing, and whenever I hear a TV, I start to mouth off because everything on TV pisses me off. And they had this African American guy who was always there. I don't know what his relationship is, but he happened to be sitting back to back to me, and later I learned he has a big thing about bigotry. I mean, boy, does he have a thing about bigotry. Like talk to 2 hours and preaching to the choir thing about bigotry, okay? And and I happened to make this mistake because I don't know if this is really what went down. I'm just trying to give some sort of a narrative here about the impressions, perceptions as they fled by like a river, okay? There was this guy talking on, this African American judge in one of those daytime judge TV shows, and he was saying he had this perfect diction, and he was very educated. But about every third paragraph, he'd throw in this gratuitous "y'all," as if some sort of reminder of his heritage or his southern background or something. I don't know what, but it just like, deciding people's fates with, the blind scales of justice. And for some reason, I just couldn't help it. I said, "y'all." And, I think that really pissed the guy behind me off, and I didn't mean it that way, but you see, most people don't really get what I say, because they're not that bright, and I don't wish it wasn't so. It's not a dig. God, I wish you did understand me. But anyway, I don't think he did understand me, and so then after that, like the next time I went back, I didn't feel as comfortable, and he happened as I went in, he was helping the cook or something, and our eyes met, and then as I said, he turned around, I swore he said, "Two faces here." And, that just ruined it for me. I mean, it could have been an impression, but somehow it hit me hard, whether it was subjectively or objectively. And so I just knew after that I didn't want to be there. I didn't want to be causing trouble. I didn't want to be getting mad, So I said, okay, I'm not going to come here anymore. I'm not going to bring my family here anymore. I'm not going to spend my money here anymore. It might not be their fault, but they're doing fine, It's just whatever. So anyway, what happened then is like, I was living with this landlady, and one day she got so mad at me. I mean, I paid my rent, everything was fine, but she just decided that I was so whatever that she stopped receiving my mail. And so I talked to her about it, and that talk turned into a confrontation where she hit me with her cane in front of witnesses. And, the police were called, and then when she was screaming in front of them on the call, and then they came, and then when they're talking to me, and I told them I was worried about getting my packages, this one officer says, well, look, just go to an Amazon locker, okay? There are 7-Elevens, and you can get your packages there, and you don't have to deal with this woman. I said, okay. So I started doing that, and so one day I was going back there with, like, my stuff, and, this I happened to run into this same African American guy. And he says, "Hey," and I said, "Hey," and that was that. So then I went about my day. Then a week later, I was doing the same thing, and I ran into the manager lady. I guess they must be around there, or that area, or something. And I was like, "Oh, hey," Well, actually, I didn't see her. That's important. You see, I was just going. I would never have known she was there. She says, "Hey." Look up and, oh my God, it's the lady from the restaurant. I said, "Oh, hey," she says, "How are you doing?" She says, "You never come anymore," and she just turned around and walked away. She looked very sad, very hang dog. So I was like, "Oh, okay." Well. So I went back, and I went back, and I brought my family and everything. I mean, everything seemed cool. Now they had these new waitresses there, and one of them. I mean, she seemed very nice and everything, but and I'm gonna describe her because we're all these whatever. So she's like Latina, and she was very young. She has angelic eyes. She has this beautiful clear complexion. She looks like an angel, except that she has this huge ass. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be insulting. She just has. Her figure is so strangely proportioned that it's almost like, it's like I'm prepubescent. And don't think of me as a woman, think of me as a girl. Okay, I mean, that's her whole attitude. That's how she talks. That's what she talks about, and that's fine. Okay, I mean, I was perfectly fine, and that's great. But and you're gonna think it's strange, but she would not bring me coffee. I mean, I know that's weird, but it's just like you're sitting there, and I've been to a lot of restaurants. Okay, I've been to a lot of restaurants, either with people or family, or wasn't always this poor. I like to eat. I like to go out. I mean, try to stay fit, but I like to eat. And so I've been to Langer's. I've been to the Pantry. I've been to Cantor's. I've been to Fatburger. I've been to Eric Erickson's. I've been to the Standard. I've been to the Daily Grill. I mean, I'm not trying to give you like some sort of restaurant career here. I'm just trying to say that in the city of LA, there are a lot of places you can go. I mean, I've been to Dino's. Okay, I've been everywhere, and nowhere I ever had a coffee cup as empty as the one I was getting at that place with this waitress. It was just downright bizarre. Okay. I mean, I've been to like, Carol's where the gay waiter sits down in the middle of the night while we're eating there to sit and cry on my shoulder and tell me his life story, and you actually feel for him and want to talk with him. I mean, okay, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And so, no waitress or waiter worth their salt ever keeps your coffee cup empty. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you're not a coffee drinker, but I am. And so I paid for that coffee, and it's supposed to be endless coffee, and every other restaurant I've ever been to has been endless coffee. So I made the mistake of saying, "Could I please have some coffee?" I would start, I raised it up a cup up high, I would try to get her attention over and over again while she just texted on the phone. I would I mean, it was just like, it was something kind of horrible about it. I don't know why, but you felt singled out because, I mean, it got up to the point where I actually went and got up my own coffee, which I'd seen other people do, I guess, but and the manager saw, she didn't care. But once that happened, it was like it was on or something. It was like I had criticized her in public or something, and I even told her, I mean, I tried everything I could to give hints and be nice about it. One time I said to her, when I see the bottom of my coffee cup, it reminds me of my mortality. Which is, I don't know about that. I don't drink coffee. And, it was like, I'm tipping this person, I'm paying for this. It was like, I looked at the menu, and it wasn't like I was paying less than they listed for the prices, I mean, I just couldn't figure out what was going on. And it was getting more and more annoying to me because, it's part of the experience is having your coffee, okay? And I was feeling singled out. I mean, other people sometimes seem to rag on her a little, but, she would even do things like sit where she would keep one eye in the kitchen and she'd keep one eye on the dining area, but then she'd be texting on her phone, not keeping an eye on anything, except when someone from one side or the other came to get her to do something, in which case she was already on attention, you see? Very clever, you see what I'm trying to say? And, and then I went up to her one time, specifically there with here in an empty coffee cup. She says, "Oh, hi, I'm just talking with the cook," when she was on her phone, okay? And, I mean, this really bugged me because, I have a college education. I've been, full-time freelance artist, not getting paid anything for like 10 years. Okay, and you might go boo-hoo, right? But the point is that I've made choices in my life and I've lived by them. Okay? And this 19-year-old is just doing whatever the fuck she wants, and she's getting paid for it. Okay? She's getting to decide who she's going to get what, when they want, whenever she wants. Okay? And I can feel it because I have a sixth sense about these things, and I'll just say it like that, all right? I could feel it. And then one day I'm there, and I've already been making commotions or whatever, and I hear her say, it's just a whisper, whatever, I swear, okay, she says, he's always grousing and he doesn't even work. Money is green money is green. If I was paying it, who gives a fuck what I do with it? But apparently she'd taken it upon herself to make that kind of a judgment about me. And this is what it's like being a rebel, you see. This is what it's like making choices in your life that you believe in with all your heart that other people think are pure bullshit. Okay? But I get to do that as an American. That's why I'm here, and that's why I've chosen with full, cognition, as much as I think it's possible for me to have, which is not complete, to do that. And I'm paying the same money as everybody else, and now someone else has made a decision about who and what I am. In this sanctuary. So, one day I came, and the last times I went in there was during the eclipse, this big eclipse they had in 2017, and, I went in by myself because I was going to have someone else meet me there, and I came in, it was just a madhouse, okay, they were so busy, and as I stepped in, my eyes met with this waitress, and we looked at each other for a second, and I knew at that moment that I was going to be the last priority that day, okay? Sure enough, I sit down, and there's the only table there's this heaping full of smelly food, okay, just disgusting, okay. I sat there for like 5 or 10 minutes until finally I busted myself, okay. And that doesn't ring anything. Everyone's looking at me like everyone else is eating. Everyone else is eating. Everyone else has coffee, and she knows I'm there. She's not doing nothing. 2 other people come in, and she goes up to them and takes their order while I'm sitting at an unbussed table. I know discrimination when I see it. I might not be black, but people can discriminate against the individual, the radical individual, just as well. They know it. They feel it. You don't get this radical and have people not know. So yeah, all right. So now she's doing this shit, all right? So, and so, like, I do everything I can to be whatever, but, and it's just not working. So I start talking about, and this is in front of other people. Now other people join me. I'm still getting this, okay? I have to pick up my own tray of water and coffee. Okay, and there's no manager woman coming out saying, hey, are you okay? Or, oh God, we're so busy today. I'm sorry this is happening. Please be a little patient with us. We'll give you a little off. No! And it's like, I can't believe I wrote this place this great review on Yelp, I've given them money every day that I haven't had a kitchen that was green for a month. They must have made $500 off me that month. And this is how I'm getting treated just for being me? Right, so, I do this like, I just start talking and ranting like I do right here. I said, the KSG is the only shotgun that lets you have 15 shells in the state of California. It's the devil's weapon. Can you imagine what it would do even just full of birdshot in a room like this where you're being disrespected even as we speak? Wow, why would anyone get angry like that as we're being disrespected for the money we're paying right now in real time? And they actually, and people started getting weird around me. I started talking about how there was no hope for anything on God's green earth because I was sitting here being ass-fucked by some 19-year-old little uneducated, brat who's just left to run wild by herself in the restaurant when the manager hides in the kitchen doing God knows what. Okay, right. So, I just started saying that. And what was funny is that 2 of the guys there, when they got up to leave, they looked like they had respect for me in their eyes. But otherwise they enjoy it. The other people were enjoying the fact that we were uncomfortable and enjoying the fact that it wasn't going well, So anyway, my mom still wanted to leave her a tip at the end of that. I said, fuck leaving her a tip, and crossed it out, all right? I should be tipped. I'm the one who did everything here. Okay, that's what gets to me. See, I don't make any money and I take responsibility for it, and this woman is gonna go and do a shitty job and get paid for it and judge me as a loser when my money's green and the same as everyone else's just because I'm in the room. Right. So I wrote them another review in which I just said that, and this is right after my glowing review in which I said they were the best place on earth. I said, that's wrong. I said they accepted you like family, but they don't. They don't accept you like family, not anymore. I gave examples. She waited on someone else first, 2 other people first after we came in. She didn't give me, she didn't bust the table. She didn't just waitress place favorites, and I put that review up there, and that was that. And I wasn't ever going to go back again. But then, 22 days later, I get called by the manager saying that, hey, they're photographing their food for a delivery service, and if, we and a bunch of other customers want to come in, they'll give us, food for less or for free, and it'll be great. Plus, did she read her reply to my review? I said, no, I hadn't, I'm sorry. So I read it, it seems okay. We're sorry, we never intended. It was a very busy day for us. We didn't intend for, you feel like your service was selective, and if you come in, we'll turn that frown into a smile. So, I came in and I brought someone else with me, and they gave us some free food, and she talked up a star and made everyone feel friendly. And everything was going fine until the cook came out, back, behind my guest, my mom was there. And, I happened to look at him and give him a smile, and he just looks at me like daggers, God, and I was shocked. So we're looking at each other and the rage is building, because I'm fucker, and he's going, you fucker, fucker. All right, and it's building and building until my mom looks over her shoulder and goes, hi, all right. And so anyway, and then there's this sort of feeling of discomfort now in the sanctuary where we come as strangers and leave as friends, and you can think freely and be yourself and dream and everything. And and so then as we're getting up to leave, and that might not have been in it, but then the manager lady comes up to me and says, look, this waitress, we've had complaints about her. You're not the only complaints, but she's going to be here for forever. And if you don't like her, just come after 2 o'clock. So I went back and I created, my mom had an account with Yelp that she's never used, and I went into her account and wrote another review in my mom's name, and I read it to her before I posted it, and she agreed with it, where I just said that, this is a bigoted place. I said this is a bigoted service where they have a waitress who is paid to give you terrible service, and the manager is just basically said, well, just come out, when complaining to the manager about this, she says, well, admits that we have complaints before, but if you don't like that, just come after 2. He says, obviously, I said, never been more insulted in my life. 3 exclamation points, God, you go in to give service, and you're just told, well, if you're getting shitty service, just come later. But obviously she can't manage her, she cannot run a tight ship, okay? You're going to talk about, this same manager once made a scene, okay, and in front of the whole restaurant because they were televising O.J. Simpson's parole hearing, okay, because O.J. Simpson is African American. She didn't talk about how he's a celebrity who might have committed the crime of the century, regardless of his color, but just about it was unfair because he's African American. Well, you don't call out people to receive bad service because you think they're, daffy or something. If they're paying the same money as everyone else is paying, what you basically told me is that you don't have what it takes to stand by your principles.